Alright, first battle for today. My opponent leads off with Dragapult. Very, very good Pokemon. You see it all over the place because it's so fast. And I send out Hydreigon. Normally this would be a bad position for me, but I have a Choice Scarf and my opponent wasn't expecting that, so he eats a stab, super effective Dark Pulse to the face and gets deleted. And then out comes the obvious Mimikyu, forces me to switch, and he's going to click the obvious Swords Dance. But we have the ultimate counter to that this time in Pyukumuku. Pyukumuku has the Unaware ability, which basically ignores all stat boosts of my opponent's side. And my opponent is actually unaware of this ability, so he gets real greedy and starts boosting in my face, and I just don't care. So I just Toxic him, and the nice part about this is that I don't even need to break his disguise. The Toxic just wears him down regardless. So my opponent's thinking about it. He's about to dunk on me right now with this +4. Oh, nothing! And that's Life Orb. That's a +4 Life Orb Play Rough from a Mimikyu. Did nothing. It was just a scratch. And the Soak is for both Steel types and Psychic types, or Poison types, so that you can poison them with Toxic as well. So Mimikyu can Toxic any Pokemon in the game. Soak can also be used to remove the same type attack bonus or stab of the Pokemon, which also makes them hit less hard. And the Toxic damage is slowly building up. His disguise is still intact, but it doesn't matter because the Toxic's taking him out regardless. So my opponent switches out into Ferrothorn. Instead of counter there, I should have went for Soak, so then I can also poison the Ferrothorn, but that's a misplay on my part, but that's alright. So we're going to switch out and go back into Hydreigon. Because, yeah, there was nothing that the Ferrothorn could really do. He goes for Leaf Seed, misses. Not that it really mattered because we're going to click that win button and proceed to hit him with a Fire-type attack, ×4, super effective. Yeah, down goes the Ferrothorn. Easy peasy. Get the Sun up as well. Yeah, Dynamax, super balanced. And then out comes the Mimikyu and my opponent just dipped, so that is the end of Battle 1. On to game number 2. My opponent leads off with a Rotom Heat, and I lead off with Excadrill. So I'm going to quick double out into my Hydreigon, and that's the reason that I brought Hydreigon, is because it resists both of Rotom Stabs. And my opponent decides to go and click his win button extra early. That tells me that my opponent is extremely scared of Excadrill and wants to get rid of it as soon as possible. So Rotom gets nice and big. All that skill, looking good. And he clicks on the obvious fire attack, I'm assuming. Yeah, so easy Max Flare. And Hydreigon takes that pretty nicely, actually. It only did about 35%, which is not too bad at all. But now the sun's out, so it boosts the next Max Flare coming my way. So I hit him with a Dark Pulse. It actually does a pretty decent chunk, and he hits me with another Max Flare in the sun, and I actually managed to survive this. So my Hydreigon actually eats up his entire Dynamax Pokemon. It eats up all 3 of the turns, which is really good for me, honestly. So down goes Hydreigon, but his Dynamax also runs out, but I still have my Dynamax, so I have a slight edge. Unfortunately, the Dynamax runs out, so the Rotom, I was hoping it didn't have a Choice Scarf, because whenever you Dynamax a Pokemon, it ignores the choice items. It ignores the Choice Band, the Choice Specs, and the Choice Scarf. For some reason, that's just the way the mechanic works. So even though those choice items lock you into an attack, you can still pick another attack when you Dynamax. So I was hoping that the Rotom wasn't Choice Scarfed, and it turns out that it actually was Choice Scarfed. So he smacks me in the mouth with the Overheat, but I have my Focus Sash, so Excadrill is able to hang on and to attack and retaliate back with Max Rockfall, and this brings up the Sand, which activates Excadrill's Sand Brush ability, which basically literally doubles his speed. So Yeah, that's the main strat with Excadrill. Excadrill is a ridiculous Pokemon. It's one of the best abusers of the win button. Out comes Togekiss. Now I went for Max Guard because I was actually hesitant. I wanted to get a little bit of extra chip damage from the sand, but I was underestimating the power of Dynamax Excadrill because the Max Steel Spike just kills it. I don't think the little bit of chip damage mattered. So that was actually kind of a misplay because now I don't get to use my Dynamax on his next Pokemon, which was his Tyranitar, and my max move would have taken out his Tyranitar, but now I burned a turn due to hesitation, so when I go for Earthquake, it doesn't quite do enough. But it still did an insane amount, and it activates his weakness policy. And then he just claps Excadrill, and down goes Excadrill. And then we bring out our beloved Pyukumuku. Now you would think that I would die to a +2 Stone Edge. Nah, Pyukumuku eats it up and then spits his guts right into the Tyranitar's mouth. And down goes the Tyranitar. Pyukumuku for the win. So yeah, if you guys are tired of physical setup sweepers or you're just sick of Mimikyu, I highly suggest you put Pyukumuku on your team. His unaware ability allows him to easily shrug off any boosted physical hit. With that being said, thanks for watching, you guys.